Good afternoon. This is Dr. Saul Goldstein. The opinions expressed by these two, fellows, colored folks, may or may not be the opinions of their employers or mine. Holla at me.
Top top, they want top top. They love top top. They want top top. They love top top.
If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
There is some serious musical chairs going on in TV and streaming land. Breaking news that U.S. soccer, U.S. men's national team, is moving. Well, not U.S. men's national team, U.S. soccer as a whole, men and women, is moving to HBO Max. So if you don't have that premium streaming service as of January of 2023, you better get it if you want to watch the U.S. men's national team. Ken, what are your thoughts on this? Is this a good move, and why would they do this in the first place?
Um, so this is the first time that MLS and US soccer haven't bundled their rights together.
Right.
So, like this like this was just like the first deal that they've put together.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I think, like, I don't know, man. Like, the devil's gonna be in the details,
Mm-hmm.
um, on like what's exactly behind the paywall and what's not behind the paywall. I know Turner is like TBS and TNT, and they're going to show games on TBS and TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they said like 10 or something. I don't know if that's 10 men's games and 10 the women's games for a total of 20, or like 10 combined, which would be like 5-5 or some breakup that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the devil's all in the details. Overall, though, I am a little concerned about this, like, commoditization of soccer going away from like broadcast television and more
Mm-hmm.
towards like streaming behind paywalls.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we should probably have a conversation about, like, in the future, not right now. We should probably have a conversation about like what streaming is doing in general, because, like, people were like, oh, streaming's the future, and now we're starting to see like the numbers come back from streaming, especially post pandemic, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And like those profit margins are getting real fucking thin, right? So, like, I'm cautiously optimistic about this because at least, like, the rights are decoupled from MLS. So you'll actually get like a true valuation
Mm-hmm.
of, like, what these rights can actually be worth. But also, too, like, putting them behind a paywall for the majority of the matches, it seems like, just not a fan.
Yeah. I'm not sure what is actually going on here, but there are some interesting tidbits that are kind of buried in this news that make sense when you look at the larger picture. So I was wondering, like, how did you arrive at HBO Max? And like, why is HBO Max trying to get soccer, right? That has not been their thing. If it was Paramount Plus, that makes sense. They've been doing soccer. They want to add more content and kind of corner the market on soccer in the US. But HBO Max makes no sense to me until I read that HBO Max streams UEFA Champions League throughout Mexico. So now
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it like, oh, Soccer United marketing is trying to put everything in position for this inevitable merger between MLS and Liga MX. So they get on HBO Max because people are used to watching HBO Max for a special tournament in Mexico. They're already over here. All right, boom. We get the US on board and enforce all this content here. And now we bring Mexico viewers and US viewers into the same pool for, our uh what are these Campeones Cup and the Gold Cup and all that stuff, slide it over here. So that's super interesting, I guess, just as far as like understanding how business is moving. But from like a fan perspective, and I just want to watch my damn soccer without jumping through all these hoops to watch it, I don't know, bro. I don't really know if I like this.
Yeah, like I'm really concerned. Like once again, I'm just really concerned about like soccer going behind the paywall
Mm-hmm.
and the popularity of the sport in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like as much as people say like, the sport's been growing in this country for more than 40 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look it like, in total, like, soccer's still the fourth sport in this country, behind football, basketball, and baseball. So, like, broadcast television is still very important for getting casual viewers to like watch your product.
Mm-hmm.
And just the more things go behind like paywalls like this, the less you cut out like the casual fans or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because like I understand that like they're going to be on like TNT or TBS, which is good for a couple of games, but like how many people are going to get the HBO Max package in addition to all the other packages that they get for national team soccer, right?
Right. Is HBO Max bundled? Is that with Disney Plus and Hulu or some shit like that?
Nope.
No.
HBO's owned by Turner, and Turner controls like the Warner Media empire. They
Mm-hmm.
most recently merged with like the Discovery Channel. So, like, just in terms of like the general ecosystem of like people trying to put their streaming packages together, like you have your top level packages that all do their own individual things, like your
Mm-hmm.
big three broadcasting like NBC is Peacock the cock. CBS has their own with like Paramount Plus, and then ABC is the Hulu, Disney, ESPN bundle, right? So
Okay.
everybody else now is just grabbing for scraps, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a seat at that big table with those big three, like I just don't know, you know, like you selling off-brand dope at that point, right? So
Green
like
tops. Green tops.
green tops, we got green tops. So like yeah, like I just don't know you know like how this is going to work out, especially with like ad dollars for sports, like for non big power sports like starting to
Mm-hmm.
dry up too.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I want to watch the U.S. men's national team. I definitely want to watch She Believes Cup and the Gold Cup and all of that. I happen to have an HBO Max subscription, but I may not always. And
Yeah.
to be locked out would really suck. So again, figure it out, y'all. Just like put all the soccer in one place, please. Thank you for checking out Chop Soccer Pod Short Corners. For more, check us out on Twitter at Chop Soccer Pod and Instagram at Chop Soccer Pod. You know the vibes.